Hey guys, so I've got an Ableton set open here, and I've got my Stream Deck Pro on screen here, which currently has nothing mapped to it. And then I've got the software I wrote to the right here, which I want to demo. So I've got a pretty basic set I've been working on. Very laid back, chill, nothing too special. And I'm just going to start dictating to this, and I'll let you guys know what it's doing as we go. Please set up drum mutes using the top 4 buttons of the Stream Deck to control the drums in the Perkins first drum track. Use the MIDI clip in row 2, index 1, to determine which drums are active. So this software is using Ableton OSC to stream events from Ableton and take actions within the set. And it's also got full control over the Stream Deck API to control the hardware in real time. So we create mappings based on what it finds in the Ableton set. Even though I've got a lot of drums loaded into this drum rack, it should be able to use that clip to find the ones that are active. And it should find a kick, a snare, a hi-hat, and a shaker. So let's see if it gets that right. You can see here I've got an Electron-inspired pulse going so that you can see when the trigs are happening via the background of the buttons. Great, so we got our mutes set up. Next, let's see if we can combine these so that the top left button is a group mute for kick and snare, and the button next to it is a group mute for hi-hat and shaker. So I know a lot of this you can do on the push, but it's nice that it's labeled here, so you can create a bunch of custom mutes and then actually have them labeled so that you can know when you come back to it kind of what they're doing. Let's see if it gets our group mutes. Got those okay. So now that you've got the basic premise, I'm just going to throw a lot at it, and we'll see how much it gets right. Okay, please set up the following mapping. Set up a group send for the active drum tracks in the Perkins first track you were just working with to send to the distortion return track, which is send B. Next, set up map that to dial 1. For dial 2, let's have a group control for the hi-hat and shaker volume. Make sure to set the maximums to respect the currently set volume for those tracks. And those are going to be the 2 tracks in the hi-hat shaker mute group. For the dial 3, let's map that to the frequency of the auto filter in the bass track. So the auto filter plugin frequency on the bass track. For the 4th dial, let's map that to the AFX return track drive level, which will be found in the auto filter plugin in an audio effects rack on that track. Next, I need a fade button to fade in the bitmap track. Fade out the bit rate track from its currently set volume to 0, and then back up again, respecting its current level as the maximum, and simultaneously fade in the Artemis track from its current level of 0 to a volume of 60. Lastly, I just need 2 buttons to increment or decrement the volume of the pulse track in units of 10. So I just threw a lot at it there. That's kind of the fun of this, though. A lot of the iteration on this was making the agent really good at inspecting what's going on in a track and figuring out, for instance, if there's an audio effects rack, it needs to look in that audio effects rack to find all the plugins. So let's just kind of go with it as it creates these mappings and see if it gets them. So first I've got my drum send to distortion. You can see it got that. We're definitely hearing some distortion there. That's sending to this distortion track here. Next, I've got a group volume control. Just got that. You can see that I've got it respecting the current maximums I set, so it doesn't go above that. Next, let's go over to my bass track. I've got frequency control. Works great. Let's see how it did on this fade. So over here, I would expect this to fade out the bit rap track while fading in Artemis. Awesome. Tack up the volume on this guy a bit. And then I've got this FX track over here the Artemis is sending to, and I can adjust the drive level on that. So again, this guitar solo, increase or decrease the drive on that. That's working great. And then you can also increment or decrement this pulse track in values of 10, which you can see happening very well there. So that's basically it. Just a short demo, but you can get pretty wild with this. It's fun. It's really nice that everything's labeled. And the nice thing about this is that these mapping files save per set. So if you set a bunch of stuff and change set, the mapping's saved to whatever the current set is. So still working out a lot of bugs, but if people are interested, happy to share more information or potentially open source some of this, because I've been having a lot of fun with it. So thanks.